the great healer. When I was a child, my mother would call the ocean, she referred to the ocean as the great healer. And here I am in Santa Cruz, California. And this was a place that I used to come quite a bit as a child. And so how perfect is it today that I'm here for this workshop, and I have been having these really intense epiphanies as I'm coming up through the drive here from Sacramento to Santa Cruz, California. And I'm just thinking about, wow, so Santa Cruz really takes me so back into my past, into my childhood. When I'd come here as a child, we'd come here for vacation, and we come here sometimes camping, and when we get hurt, my mother would say, oh, just go into the ocean. The ocean is the healer. It'll heal everything. And so I want to talk about that for a moment with you, because I want to take that even deeper as water and as emotion, and how the symbolization of how water is so connected to emotion itself, and use this metaphor of the great healer of the ocean as a place for you to find, like, what is your great healer within yourself. So I'm going to kind of be all over the place for just a moment, but it's all going to circle around to the point that I really want to make here. And so there's these times in our life, and I remember this one particular time in my life, and it was probably the pinnacle of me moving from an old way of being to a new way of being in my life. And I was at this crossroads, and I felt like I was straddling two sides of a fence. I felt like I was living in this world of my past and my wounds and these unconscious behaviors and the shadows, and then I was in this other world of where I had some awarenesses of how things got to the point of where they were in my life. And I was healing the death of my mother during that time. And I was seeing myself in ways that I had never seen myself before. I was seeing the shadow. The shadow had come to light, and I had some decisions to make about who I was and how I was going to be in the world, and how I was going to move forward. And it was such a really difficult place, because I felt like I don't know how to be whole in this place. Basically, I didn't know how to heal in that place of where I was, because I felt like I was so divided. And I think that theme right now is such a major theme for us in our lives, and so many of our lives, is that we are divided. And if we don't really recognize the division that we're feeling, then it's probably can show up as feeling stuck, or just not being happy in our lives, or feeling depressed in our lives. It's like, yeah, that there's this division. There's this division of living unconsciousness in our lives, where the unconscious side of us, the unaware of our shadow and who we are, and healing our wounds and how our wounds are holding us back, that place right there is holding us in this world that is keeping us in discontent. And then there's those of us that have, come to this place in our evolutionary path, and we're saying, I see the other side, and I'm living on partly the other side, but I haven't fully committed myself to this place of wholeness, to this place of healing that I can come to. And so here, that brings me to this ocean, right, that I'm here today as the great healer. And so over the last few weeks, I've been having some, like I said, some huge epiphanies more as I came down here of my childhood, the things that I hadn't remembered in such a long, and really looking at my relationship to betrayal, part of my karmic work in this lifetime of relationships that have felt that way to me, and I've had those experiences, and how to heal those, and how to forgive those, and how to move on from those. And so I've had these realizations and understandings about myself and others in my life, and here I am. I find myself sitting here in Santa Cruz, California, talking to you in front of the great healer, having my mother sitting here, I believe, in this whole realm right now of saying, not that it's okay, but you got this, and good for you, and welcome home. There's this process called Ascension. And Ascension, we can look at that from the literal meaning of what Ascension is to ascend to something higher. But think about it in terms of a healing. Because when we heal, we ascend ourselves. We move from the shadow, we move from the unconsciousness of life's story to the consciousness of the wisdom, of the grace, in which those stories have given us information. So where is your great healer? You don't have to go somewhere to find it. I just happen to be here. The great healer can be someplace in silence. It can be someplace in journaling. It can be someplace in stillness. But it is someplace within. The fact that I'm here at the ocean is just helping me to capture it in a physical way, but I know it's an internal job. It was a pleasure to be here with you today, and thank you for sharing this time with me. And I hope this was of some help for you on your evolutionary path. Namaste.